Hey folks, I'm Zach. This is Paper Computer Games. I'm not even going to do the whole thing today. Yeah, it's been a while and it's time for a wiki rampage. So yeah, let's do it. Yeah. Ah, shoot! It's been so long I don't even remember which key is the intro anymore. Except it doesn't work. All right, that's how long it's been. Alrighty, well, yeah. So here we are. Looks like nobody's here yet. So I will just start wikiing. Yeah. So if you're watching this later on repeat, hopefully it won't be boring. But I've got my whole stack of paper computer games over here. These are the ones from that I showed in my recent video, showing all the ones from when I was a kid. These have not been wikied, and that needs to be fixed. So I am here today to chew gum and wiki paper computer games, and I'm shoot out a gum. Alrighty. So yeah, let's do this thing. All right. So the first step towards wikiing. Well, actually, let me get my headphones here, and then I'll get some music going. We can, it'll help keep me motivated, I think. And then we can, just chillax, just chill and put my headphones in, because I always forget to do that. Wait, let me double check. Can you hear me? Yeah, okay. See, look, you can see my mic is going, so in theory you should be able to hear me. Okay, so we're good. We're good. All right, so yeah, let's put this thing in. I'm getting better at this, by the way. I'm talking. There is currently 0 people in chat, but I'm talking as if you're all here. But yeah, Let's get some good music going. Let's see, what do we got here? I'm gonna use my whole YouTube music thing. Let's get some chill Zelda music going. Yeah, I only have Sabrina Carpenter because I had to make a laser show about her for a while. No hate on Sabrina Carpenter. I had fun making that laser show. I don't ordinarily listen. Not that there's anything wrong with doing so. That was my first exposure, really. But yeah, let's head over to the PCG Wiki. So, yeah, here we go. Good old PCG Wiki with its good old 3,632 articles. Whoa, that's weird. So I got this, this add-on to Firefox. I feel like the music's a bit too loud. Let me lower that a bit. Yeah, anyway, I got this add-on to Firefox that, changes the headers based on the color of the website. I don't know why when you scroll down to here, it becomes yellow. That's weird, but alright, cool. Anyway, let's search for Batman. Let's see what comes up already on the wiki. So we do have an article on Batman. Batman is a vigilante who uses martial arts and gadgets. Even these were unable to stop the rampaging fat guy, however. Oh yeah, from that Perfect One comic. Oh, hey, it's Epic Underworlds. Epic says, hope you're doing well, Zach. Love a good wiki stream. Heck yeah, I am doing well. Thanks. Hope you're doing well also, Epic. Good to see you. I saw one of your shorts earlier about your cards. Looked awesome. But yeah, so let's see. We're gonna wiki some of these about Batman. Wait, what's this? Batman also has an adventure making his way past a series of enemies on platforms and fighting villains like the Penguin. Oh yeah, this was a game I played by JCC, or I guess I didn't play it. I reported on it for PCG News, and it was just like a one-page Batman adventure. And up till today, that has been the only Batman paper computer game wikied on the wiki. We are going to hopefully fix that. Epic says, thanks you. You are very welcome. Thank you as well. All right, so I think this is going to be our first PCG that we're going to wiki. This is called Batman the TV Show. It's based on the classic Adam West TV show. So yeah, let's wiki this thing. So yeah, how does one wiki this thing? Wait, am I not signed in? Oh man, let's sign in. Alrighty. That better be the right password. Alright, good. We in, I think, right? Ooh, I have notifications. Fandom wants to learn more about the things I'm passionate about. I'm sure they do. Okay, so yeah, let's wiki this beast. All right, new page. This page is going to be called Batman, the TV show. Does this have a date on it? No, it does not. All right. So, yeah, let's wiki. Batman, the TV show, was a 90s paper computer game. Oh, there's too many. I guess that's by Zach. Let's see. While I'm talking about this, like, I've been hard at work on the new PCG site. We've made lots and lots of progress. We are having some difficulty importing all the content from the old PCG shop, though, but it will happen. But yeah. The game is loosely based on the Batman TV show starring Adam West. You play as Batman, and you have to defeat Penguin. Wait, there's already an article on Penguin? Oh, it's probably just an ordinary Penguin. Let's find out. Let's save that, and then we'll click on that. Oh, yeah, it is the Penguin. Penguin was a villain who fought Batman on a series of platforms. Heck yeah. Well, I guess so. So I guess this Batman Arkham Asylum was actually the second time that Penguin fought Batman in paper computer games. Yeah. So let's fix that. Let's see. Let's like look through this game a little bit. Well, what happens in this one again? So we've got our inventory. I mean, you guys have seen that a little bit on my other video. I don't know how many of you actually watched that, though. It's got like lower than normal metrics, so yeah, let's see. Yeah, we've got this cool shot of the Batmobile. Actually, do I have I think I put these Batman games in a folder, so let's see if I can find that. This is unavailable? Really? Hold on. I will be right back. Maybe I won't be right back. Huh, it is plugged in. Not sure what the problem is. Okay, so I think that's working again. So let's Let's try this again. Alrighty. Yeah. Paper computer. Come on. Come on, man. Come on. I thought that was going to work this time. Okay. Maybe I'm definitely missing one of them. Hold on a second. Okay, there we go. Very annoying. That flash drive had to be unplugged and replugged. Oh man. So yeah. Man, remember the good old days when I could just like stream and there would already be like 5 people chilling here? Those were the days. But yeah. Why does the music keep stopping? Alright, you know what? Fine. We'll listen to Pokey and chill then. Alright. Now, can I see if I have the pictures, please? Paper Computer Games. Zach. Kid PCGs. Tank PCG? Oh yeah, Kid PCGs. Huh. And it's not in here. Would I've put it in movies? Maybe I didn't put it anywhere. Yeah, all of you 0 viewers are seeing the innards of my PCG folder. It is vast and voluminous, but doesn't appear to have what I'm looking for. Alright, well, I do think it's on my... Wait. Oh, I know. I think I put it on the Google Drive. Oh, I know. I know what I did. I sent it to Yak, didn't I? There we go. All right, let's put this into a folder. Like, I should have access to this for future reference in case I need it. Oh, hey, Abel Scrones, how's it going? Dude, indeed. Oh, Epic's still here too? Awesome. Thanks for still being here. How says Zach is streaming, my prayers are answered. They sure are. Look, man, you know, like, the heavens opened and beckoned me to a stream, and, you know, here I am. So, yeah, let's see. Where am I putting this? I'm putting this in Zach. I'm putting it in Kid PCGs. And then let's see. Batman, the TV show. And then we're gonna, like, just, like, whoa. We're just gonna, like, see if we can't just, like, grab these pictures and just, like, drag them into here. Yeah, this one is... I don't know who these people are supposed to be. Yeah. I feel like... I don't know. I feel like that's Batman. That's, like, Bruce Wayne. But, yeah, I don't know. The heavens opened and Peanut Patron dropped you down to grave our ever-loving earth with a stream. Grace our ever-loving earth with a stream. You know it. Yeah, the Peanut Patron personally had a chat with me, and I was like, look, Peanut Patron, I'm busy. And Peanut Patron was all like, the time has come. And then he gave me, like, a peanut M&Ms to motivate me, so I was like, all right, I'm sold. Yeah, so do we have this Batmobile shot? That is pretty cool. I think this is going to be the wiki picture. My webcam is blocking the screen. Oh, shoot, I'm sorry. Yeah, there we go. Let's fix that. Good call. Thanks there. Yeah, so let's see. Then we've got this POW. We've got this. Oh, hey, it's Robin. We've got Batman finally confronts the Penguin. Then we've got the Bat plane also. Sweet. Or I guess now it's usually called the Batwing. I don't know. And we've got the inventory screen, even though there was an earlier inventory screen, right? Yeah, this is the inventory screen. So, like, these can't both be the inventory screen, or maybe they can. I don't know. Maybe I made two different versions of the inventory screen for two different players. Whatever. In any event, let's drag and drop oh, that does not work. Alright, let's edit this. Heck yeah. This is going to be a proper wiki article now. Yes. If it would let me drag and drop the image in here. Ah, that doesn't work. Aw, man. But I can do this. Oh-ho. Upload. And this is going to be Batman the TV show cover. Yeah. All right. So we've got a cover. I think I'm gonna put like a few other pics in here, like maybe. I keep trying to do that. All right. Let's upload the Batmobile. Batmobile. And definitely the fight with Penguin. Batman, Penguin, fight the TV show. All right. So how's the Pokemon Stop game coming along? We kind of dropped it once we needed battle sprites. It's coming, actually. It's coming. Now, to be fair, I have not done a ton with it. However, the programmer has continued working on it diligently. I have done some stuff on it. I have added some areas, but so it now has a fully functioning battle system. It has a fully functioning catching Pokemon system. Now he's working on the Pokédex. And I feel like once, the basic groundwork is laid, we're going to start actually, like, fleshing out the game, and it's going to get closer to being, like, actually done. So, yeah, that is still very much happening, and that is moving along at a very steady pace, which is pretty sweet. I'm pretty psyched about that. Might as well join the Rampage. Heck yeah, Epic. Heck yeah. I mean, yeah, so in terms of sprites, I feel like I felt like we got to a point where we got all the sprites we were going to reasonably get. So I was like, all right, I'll stop. I'll lay off the community, right? I've pushed my fans as far as they can be pushed, you know? I don't think I'm going to get many more sprites out of this. Definitely, if you guys still want to submit more sprites, they are more than welcome, but like, I feel like we have enough that we can make the game, you know? I feel like we can, like, we have all the Pokemon. There's a few Pokemon we don't have still, but, you know, I can make those, and, you know, it's not a big deal, and, yeah, we can make the game. It's not like there's, like, hundreds of images that we need to produce, so you guys really helped. I'm ultra psyched. Heck yeah. That's what I like to hear. By the way, I have this weird, like... Can you guys see this, like, green line around my PCG wiki? You guys aren't going to be able to see that. That's only for me because I added, like, I discovered you can make... personal JavaScript to customize the wiki, but it only customizes it for one user, right? Which is, like... And this green thing was just, like, a test thing I added, so... for a while, I accidentally, like, ruined my PCG wiki so that, like, the JavaScript creates, like, a bubble in the middle of the screen, and you can't see anything past the bubble. But, yeah, anyway. Yeah, let's finish this article. So, heading. All right, so we've got... All right, I'm getting tired of this song, by the way. Let's put on Route 3. Why can you customize JS per user? How would that be helpful to anyone? Well, because, like, each user can... Like, it's helpful because each user, if they want to, can customize how the wiki looks to them, you know? If you want the wiki to, like, I don't know... Like, let's say if you wanted every time there's the words Peanut Patron appears, you wanted it to be colorful and sparkly and maybe, like, there's an animation. You can do that, and no one else is going to be able to see it, but for you, it'll be cool. It is also possible to do JavaScript for the whole site. The problem is that I don't do a ton of that because anytime you do it, it has to be approved by the actual, like, fandom staff. Like, you save it in a page and then it gets approved, but, like, the one for your personal stuff doesn't have to be approved. So I sort of see that as like a testing ground, right? I can like test it for myself, and like if it's cool, then I can put it in the actual thing, and then, you know, and then it can become part of how the wiki just looks to everyone. But please just give me a green border too, thanks. Sure. You want the green border? Oh, wait, can each user customize it themselves, or only you, the admin, or whatever, customize it? You know, I don't know. I think each user can customize it themselves. Let's actually find out. Let me just make this header. This is going to be called... then I'll just save this for now, and let's check out user Zach... Yeah, here it is. User Zach / common.js. So here's the JavaScript that gives me the green line. So if I want to, so here's what I would do. I would just copy this and then goes to user Habel Scrone. There's no user Habel? Do you have a different name, Habel? Are you perhaps user Sloomy? I forget who user Sloomy. That is Habel Scrones. Okay. So then that's user Sloomy. All right. User Sloomy / common.js. Alright, it does not exist, so it's going to have to be created. Alright. User sloomy / common.js. I don't know what's wrong with my J key. It has to be hit a few times before you actually see a J. Alright, let's... I do not have permission to create this page. Okay, so I think only the user can change the page. Yeah, so user Sloomy, or should I say Habelscrones, you can go to the user user Zach / common.js. That's what it is. User / Zach user :Zach / common.js. Copy this code and paste it into your user sloomy / common.js, and then you'll see the green line in theory. Make sense? Oh, Epic edited advanced PCGs. Heck yeah, what new change did you make? Let's see. Ooh, plus 409. Purpose. Yeah, so you added the whole purpose system. All right, let's go back to the page and read that properly. Purpose. The system had a very short-lived spike in the community where creators mainly traded skins in the character skin market. Interesting. I totally missed out on that, man. This was another attempt similar to the Community Chronicles project, where members were desperate to bring the community back to some substantial engagement. Many look back and think of it as a great idea, but it took lots of work for it to gain any traction. Yeah, I think this is just a symptom of just like a small number of users. That's really the problem. Like if there was more people in the PCG wiki, both of these movements would have been a huge hit, because any of these movements, the fun of them is people doing stuff. Like, oh hey, 6 different people were creating cool stuff in here. I'll create stuff too. I'll jump in. But if there's not already a ton of people doing it, each person is going to be like, well, no one's doing it. I'm not going to be the only one, contributing stuff. People, like, it's like this thing where humans are like inspired by what other people are doing, right? Habel says, understood, sir? Heck yeah. Habel says, advanced PCGs was just optimizing Mercado and not actually playing any PCGs. It seems like every single event we've been avoiding the PCG playing. Interesting. Yeah. I don't know. That's making ideas swirl in my head. Anyway, ideas aside, let's get back to Batman the TV show. All right, I haven't even finished this one article. All right, so let's see who appears in this. Well, obviously, Batman. Come on. Bro. You're not going to make the actual link. All right, there we go. We've got Batman. We've got Penguin. We've got Robin. And so, okay, so those are characters. But then we've also got vehicles like the Batmobile, and the Bat plane, which do not have articles yet, but whatever, we'll save this. What if we, hear me out, kidnap innocent civilians and force them to play PCGs? Oh, hey, King. King says, who's this Rizzy guy? I've been working on... I don't know who it is. I've been working on some peak content this weekend. Oh, heck yeah. That's what I like to hear. Heck yeah. Peak content. What kind of peak content? Well, Penguin. Let's edit the Penguin page. Penguin was a villain who fought Batman on multiple adventures. And then we'll go history. So in this case, Penguin fought Batman on a series of platforms. But before that, Penguin fought Batman. Where did Penguin fight Batman? I dropped a Fortnite video and a channel trailer. Oh, heck yeah. Let's I'm curious. Let's see the channel trailer. What's your channel called? King Froggy? Here we go, King. King sucks at Fortnite. Where's the channel trailer? Habel says, Zach, what are your thoughts on making the PCG Brawl have zero imagination mechanics? It would make it funnier, but would seem to defeat the purpose. Make it funner. Wait, what do you mean zero imagination mechanics? Like, you mean like, you mean like, oh, you mean like only imagination mechanics? Like zero mechanics, all imagination? Or you mean zero imagination, so it's all just traditional TCG mechanics? King says, what the? I think it might be for returning viewers. Yeah, but if it's a video at all, it should show up in videos. Weird. You sure it's on the right you know. Oh, I'm in these videos? Let's see this playlist. I'm curious. NanoSirs, Ice Cold. I do not know these channels. Ice Cold. Nice. Alright, I'm done wikiing, but we got some articles done, Zach. Heck yeah, thanks so much, Epic. Habel says, like currently Power and Risma are just guidelines. What about just hard health, damage, and effects? All traditional TCG mechanics. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like the thing is, so in PCG Brawl, it is kind of weird how, like, it's supposed to be, it's all your imagination, like, the numbers don't matter. But the fact that there are numbers kind of make, like, it kind of, like, makes you think in traditional TCG terms. It kind of, like, forces it to be that, right? It's like, you know, if I know exactly, like, how much health this guy has and exactly how much health that guy has, it's kind of hard to think in terms of, like, how you would play a PCG, where you don't know exactly how much health this guy has, right? Like, so, yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, I feel like the two possibilities there, or, like, my two instincts, I should say, are to either go full TCG or go full PCG. And my personal first inclination is to go full PCG. Just get rid of the numbers altogether, right? Because, like, the more like a TCG it becomes, the less like a PCG it becomes. On the other hand, actually that does kind of make sense because, like, maybe the point isn't that it's a TCG with PCG mechanics. Maybe the point is that it's a TCG with PCG characters, you know? So, like, that's a possibility. I don't know. There's, like, many different ways you could go with this, and all of them are valid in different ways. I do think it's unfortunate that like we haven't ever really gotten a proper PCG TCG off the ground. You know, we've always like, you know, somebody's like, oh, I'm making a prototype of a PCG TCG, and then it never gets released. I mean, there's Zuvak the TCG by, you know, Yak or Pat Dan, and that one is great. I love that one, but it never got released. Or, like, I should say it did get released. I played it, right? And it was fun, but, like, it didn't really go much beyond that. It didn't, like, get to become a thing that, like, the community was playing that much, as far as I'm aware. And there weren't, like, multiple sets or anything. And, like, PCG Brawl does have multiple sets released, but I feel like, you know, like, it hasn't so far gotten as much traction as you would have hoped it would get, but it still can. I totally think it can. It has a ton of potential, and I think it's awesome. I played it for a while, and I found it to be a lot of fun, and I think a lot of the art you created for it is awesome, and yeah, so I don't know. I don't know what the right path forward is with it, but yeah, anyway. Actually, I did actually film a video talking about that, but about PCG Brawl. But anyway, so yeah, Ice Cold's my one friend. Oh, cool. King, like, let's see. It's unlisted in videos. It pops up on the homepage. Oh, I see. So it's unlisted. Well, if it's unlisted, I can't see it at all. I think that's the issue. Like, if it's unlisted, then only you can see it. Like, when you look at the homepage, it shows up. But if it's unlisted, then that means no one else can see it. Oh, like, unless you send me the link, I think. Because, yeah, here I am on the homepage, and it ain't there. If I refresh this, so then I'm a returning viewer, right? It still ain't there. So, yeah. Nano one is a collab with Pat Den and his friend. Cool. We've gone off track, Zach. Oh, shoot, have we? Habel says, exactly. Also, we can have more complex cards with real rules. The new PCG Brawl would be Sigma, as the kids say. Habel says, perfect. I've initiated the Zach rant. Let me free play a Zach card. Yes. You can't see private. You can see unlisted if it's linked. Yeah, that's true. Okay. Anyway, yeah. Let's we have gone off track. Let's finish the penguin. All right. So let's actually get a penguin image in here. Actually, yeah. Let me actually make a. All right. Hold on. Edit with. Dang it. Edit with photos, and then I will just kind of like crop so we can see only him, and then voila, save as copy. We're gonna call, no, not that, dude, what, why not save it automatically to the same folder? How hard would that be? Come on. Anyway, Zach, Kid PCG's Batman the TV show, Penguin. All right. So yeah, all right. We are finally going to this poor Penguin article is finally going to have an image. It's not a duplicate. What are you talking about? It's not a duplicate. Oh, it is a duplicate. I uploaded the wrong thing. Whoops. There we go. All right, so let's put this up here and let's make it bigger. And all right, we've got the thing. So, all right, yeah. So let's edit this again. And Batman, Penguin fought Batman. What even happened in this game? So like, all right, like how do I? Dang it! Why can't? Photos always. All right, so there we go. Why is this so annoying? All right, so you see some, like, I guess a crime is happening on TV, and then he gets in the Batmobile, and then there's like a fight because pow. And then there's, like, here's Robin, like, saying, clear the area. There's, like, a giant umbrella with, like, little umbrellas hanging off of it. I feel like that was from an episode of the TV show. And then we've got the Penguin himself. So, yeah, I don't know. Penguin fought Batman after committing a crime with a giant umbrella. And that is from Batman, the TV show by Zach. Alrighty. The Penguin article has been immensely upgraded. Wait, we need to put a caption to this so people know what this is from. From Batman, the TV show. All right. So, this one has been added. Let's move on to the next game. So we've got Batman, the animated series. You guys are weirdly quiet. Are you still there? Are you still there? I don't trust you guys. You guys are sneaking around. You're always plotting something. Anyway, so here's Batman the animated series. And the villain is Man-Bat. I'm here? Alright, sweet. Thanks for being here, King. So, yeah, let's make the new game. Batman the animated series. Batman the animated series was a 90s paper computer game by Zach. Make it a thumbnail? Sweet. For what? It was loosely based on the real cartoon of the same name. You play as Batman and have to defeat Man-Bat. Appearing in this PCG, we've got, whoops, characters, Batman, Man-Bat. And then, what else happens in this game? Nothing. All right. So let's just save this. And Oh yeah, let's put this in category PCGs, and then category Batman. And yeah. And let's go back to this so we can get, like, yeah, let's get these in folders. New folder, Batman, the animated series. So then, yeah, let's drag these pictures into here. All right, so then, upload. I want to drag the file into here. There. All right, there we go. Batman, the animated series cover. Okie dokie. And then let's, all right, Habel says I'm here. Sweet. Sweet, 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 Habel. Editing a video. Oh yeah, what video? What you working on over there? By the way, I saw the, saw the trailer for the new Superman movie. I'm, speaking as a Superman fan, I'm looking forward to it. I think it looks pretty cool. What do you guys think? I don't know. I'm trying to like, I feel like editing the wiki like can get kind of boring like to watch. So I'm trying to like have some like background conversation going on because I feel like that is going to make it a bit more interesting. But yeah. Done with your thumbnail? Awesome. But yeah. Anyway. It's a video about something else you plebeians know nothing of? Fair enough. Hey, if this is boring, we can always play Civ. Yeah, that's true, but I'm trying to make my content not be boring, I'm allowed to try to be entertaining over here, I don't know. I don't understand how like wiki streams got so big in the first place. Like that they were the thing that people always wanted to come back to, I feel like because like you're watching me make the wiki, Like, it's just me, like, slowly typing, like, this was a PCG. I don't know why I'm saying this. Like, why am I, like, insulting my own content? But, like, that was sort of the struggle I had, right? It was like, how do I make this entertaining, And it was helped because I had, like, a ton of people, and they were always talking to me and, like, saying stuff, and, hey, look at this, look at that. What do you think of this? What do you think about that? Like, check out this page, check out that page. But it still was a struggle to be like, man, how do I make it entertaining? Like, because, like, there's two things going on in my brain right now, right? Like, there's, like, what I want to do on the wiki, and then there's also, like, how do I be entertaining? Because I'm performing a show right now, right? It's a weird, like, sort of balancing act. King says, trailer made me mad. Intro was like 3 straight minutes of the movie. Me and my friends were watching the Minecraft movie, and it made us think we were in the wrong theater, so we almost left. Really? Huh. Oh, well, that's unfortunate. Havel says, oh, fine. By the way, the webcam is blocking the screen again. Oh, man. Oh, well, I just fixed it anyway. Havel says, wiki streams are pretty much just an excuse for Q&A and other antics. That is true. But, like, that only works if I have, like, a bunch of people watching. Right now I have, like, 3, and none of them are asking me questions. Like, a couple did, but I feel like we've already satisfactorily answered everyone's questions. Excuse me, I don't have enough, people to be like, hey, what did you eat for breakfast today? Or like, what do you think about such and such new movie? What do you think about that? Or whatever. I don't know. I have lots and lots of questions to ask. I just don't want to take up the stream. Listen, ask him. There's like, it's only going to make the stream more engaging if I'm interacting with the audience. Adriel says, "Hey, I sent you the carts and weapons for the PCG kart racer game I sent you." Yeah, I saw that. Thank you so much. That looks really cool. Yeah, let's we can take a look at that real quick if you like. I haven't eaten, Zach. I'm malnourished and sick. I'm sorry to hear that. Well, maybe you should get something to eat, King. Alright, so that is my work email. So let's go to my actual, not work email. And, yeah, here is... hold on. Let's see. Where is it? There we go. Yeah, so here's the kart racer PCG that Toon Blast sent me. Tiny Giant Planet Kartino. we've got the rocket ship flying up. And we've got the racetrack over here. And we've got some curves to explore, some items, a boost. This looks pretty sweet to play. I guess you're supposed to make up the rules for it. So yeah, I would just need a person to play with. Zach, I'm cooking in science. Habel says, "Wait, work email? PCGs are not your full-time job?" Sadly, they are not. I do have an actual full-time job, which is sadly not PCG related. I work at a planetarium, so that's what I do in my full-time job, little known fact. Sorry I have to leave. It's my bedtime. All right, well, thanks for joining, Adriel Mason, aka Toon Blast. Have a good night. Zach, aren't you something like a scientist? I'm not a scientist. I'm a guy who talks about science on stage. I take you on a tour of the universe, and I can explain to you, what a black hole is and what happens when two black holes merge. I'm controlling, the stuff you see on the dome, and I'm talking about the stuff you see on the dome. And yeah, that is my job. I also make graphics. I also make the graphics for laser shows. So that's pretty sweet. Habel says I should come to your planetarium in secret. I'd meet you in person and you never who could be me. That's true. Yeah. You could do that. Yeah. You could come to my planetarium in secret and I would never know unless you told me. That would be pretty surprising. And then just next week you'd just be like, "Hey, I was at your planetarium," and I'd be all like, "What?" And you'd be like, "Yeah, I was the kid in the green shirt," and I would not know who you're talking about because there's 50 bajillion kids in my planetarium every single day. And it's a large audience. We can sit almost 400 people in our audience. King says, "Well, basically a scientist. I'm an astrology unit right now." Astrology or astronomy? Because those are two very different things. Habel says, "Well, tell us, what does happen when two black holes merge?" Well, when two black holes merge, they turn into one big black hole, basically, right? It's they both have gravities. When they get close to each other, they start pulling on each other. Usually they sort of spiral around each other first. They get closer and closer and closer. And it's and then they're just one big black hole. which has as much mass as both black holes put together. And the cool thing is they actually, like, you know, they've actually measured the gravitational waves. Like, gravity, you can actually make waves in space-time, and we've been able to detect them. And they've actually taken the gravitational waves made from two black holes merging and turned it into sound. And some of the sounds are pretty wild. Like, we had a guy in our planetarium explaining this to us, and it's like, and like, depending on how the black holes move around each other before they merge, like, you get different sounds. Like, if you have a wobble in addition to, like, I don't know, there's, like, different kinds of motion, like, layered on each other. And if you have, like, the right kinds of motion, it can sound like, because the basic one is like I said, like, but then, like, then you get more complex ones. It's like, it's pretty freaking wild. Anyway, that was the answer to that question. Let's see what else chat has to say. Habel posts a picture of Zach in the Discord. I found you, Zach. Oh, did you? Let's see what we found in the Discord. Or is Habel just kidding? Oh yeah. Oh, you were saying, like, if you went to the. Oh yeah. That makes sense. But yeah. Astronomy. Sorry. You good. You're good. Astrology is like zodiacs, right? Yeah. Astrology is like the, you know, predicting if people were, you know, if what their personality is going to be like based on what constellation they were born under or whatever. Which, Habel says, God, they're teaching astrology in schools now. Yeah. So that's the thing. Like, for information's sake, astrology is not a science. It's basically like a supernatural kind of belief. There's no, like, real scientific basis for it. So yeah. Adriel says the kart racer update might include a local multiplayer test. Sweet. King says, yeah, Habel Geminis are evil. Habel says, wow, those audio graphics are really good. Heck yeah. King says, no, it was an example. Astronomy is the science of space, right? Yes. So weirdly, there's actually also two different things within real space science. There's astronomy, which is like looking at space through telescopes and trying to figure stuff out about it that way. And then there's astrophysics, which is, you know, I guess trying to figure out stuff about space, but like applying physics to it. I don't really, you know, in my mind, astrophysics and astronomy shouldn't really be two separate things. Really, it's basically one big thing, but it just, if you want to go further into astronomy and learn more about the universe, you gotta bring some physics in there, because that is really what it's all about, right? Astrology, zodiacs, and stuff of the sort. Yes, that's what astrology is, yeah. So yeah. What am I doing? Who am I again? Oh yeah, I was gonna make this. Here article about Man-a-Bat. Make sure to like the stream. Oh, thank you, Habel Scrones. Did I get those pictures? Yeah, I did. Okay, so yeah, let's add them in here. Let's upload this guy and agree to that, and it's going to be Batmobile animated series. And then let's add another picture. And it'll be this one. There's only 3 pictures in this PCG, so I'm just going to add all 3 of them. And this is going to be Man-Bat. From Batman, the animated series. PCG by Zach. Kings of Self promo chat in the PCG server. Alright, so let's save that. And then now that we have a picture of Man-Bat, let's create an article of Man-Bat, and we're going to be all like, oh, come on. You going to not load on me now, Wiki? There we go. Yeah. Alright. Man-Bat. Ah! Come on. Dang it. I cannot finish writing his name. Alright. Oh, God. You can't see what I'm doing. I'm sorry. I keep doing that. Do you think there's alien life out there somewhere in the universe? That is a good question. Looks like it's time for another Zach rant. The answer is yes. So, yeah. Like, look. There's a lot of places to look for life, right? Like our Milky Way galaxy alone has about 250 billion stars in it. If you assume that each one of those stars has about 8 planets like our solar system does, or even if it has less than that, even if it has like 5 planets on average per star, then, 250 billion stars, there must be like trillions of planets, right? And that's in our one Milky Way galaxy. But then there's other galaxies, right? And each galaxy has billions to hundreds of billions of stars. So that means we're talking about there are like 2 trillion galaxies out there in the universe. So 2 trillion times 250 billion, because if that's how many stars there are in the Milky Way, if we're assuming each galaxy has something like that, times however many, times 5, let's say there's 5 planets for a star, that's a lot of planets, right? That's a lot of chances for life to form. So do I think that in all of that, life never formed anywhere except the Earth? To me, that seems tremendously unlikely. So yeah, I think the chances are overwhelmingly good that life exists somewhere else in the universe. I don't know how common it is. I don't know if we're ever going to see it in our lifetimes. But yeah, I do think it exists. I think comes with that, there's always the separate question of, do I think there's like aliens visiting the Earth? Like, are there like UFOs or whatever? That, I can't say it's impossible, but it seems pretty unlikely to me as well. Because even though there's a good chance that there's life out there, you got to remember that other stars are really, really far away. Like, space is sort of way bigger than we tend to give it credit for. Like, as far as we know, there is no way to travel faster than the speed of light. And if you can't, it would take like thousands of years to go from one star to another. Even the closest star to Earth, Alpha Centauri, is about 4 light years away, meaning even if you could go at the speed of light, it would still take 4 whole years to get there from here, or vice versa. So yeah, it's pretty hard to imagine aliens like getting in their spaceships and traveling for like, let's say 3,000 years, depending on what star they come from, just to abduct cows or whatever. That seems like hard for me to imagine, It's not impossible. They could. I did also think of a weird possibilities. Like, I sort of had fun thinking about this, and I sort of asked myself the question, right? Like, all right, if there was a... if I found out for sure that we are being visited by aliens, if I found like absolute proof of that, which, by the way, I don't think we have found absolute proof of that. If we do find absolute proof of that, where would I think they would be coming from? And I came up with a weird idea about that could almost work. I don't know if it's crazy, but yeah, I don't know. Well, we can come back to that if someone asks about it. Let me see. Let me first see what other people are saying in the chat. Do you think they would be large creatures or small amoeba like at the start of the Earth? I mean, I think they could be anything. Like, there's no reason they couldn't be large creatures. But I think like there'd probably be lots of different planets with lots of different life forms, just like in, the sci-fi, right? Like I think there would be some planets that just have amoeba. I think there'd be some planets that have creatures as complex as us and maybe even more complex, Because see, like the thing is, like, there's no reason to assume they all started evolving at the same time. Like, stars are constantly being born, which means planets are constantly being born, which means, like, if there's life on other planets, they might have started their evolution earlier than we did or later than we did, depending on the particular planet and the particular star. So there could be species way more advanced than us, or like that have just been evolving for way longer and have evolved, like, really spectacularly incredible stuff. To clarify, just because a species has been in existence for longer, that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be more complex. Like, I mean, for example, cockroaches have existed just as long as humans have. We all come from the same common ancestor. It's just that the longer life as a whole exists, the more different types of things you get. And you eventually start to get things like humans with, like, complex brains. But, yeah, I don't know. It's a whole thing. But anyway, so yeah, like, I think, like, the short answer to your question is I think there would be all different types. So King says, if I have the right planet, which I think I do you believe me? Do you believe we could survive if we moved to Gliese 581c? Interesting. Gliese 581c. I feel like that is very familiar. I feel like that's a planet I wrote an article about back in the day. Let's actually find out. Let's see. Gliese 581. Sorry, that freaking 581c Zach. I guess not. Ars Technica? Aha! Here's the article by Zach. 2 of the exoplanets closest to Earth don't actually exist. Yeah. See? We'll see. Look who wrote that. Ho ho! 2 exoplanets once considered excellent candidates for the search for life elsewhere in the universe do not exist, according to a new study in the journal Science. This was back in 2014. Dang. Yeah. So... as it turns out, the teams in the new model includes only 3 planets, B, C, and E. Okay, so Gliese 581c still exists. So, yeah, let's see. What is the deal with Gliese 581? 581c. All right, let's see. Key features of Gliese 581c. Super Earth, it's about 6.8 times more massive than the Earth. It orbits its star in just under 13 days. It's in the habitable zone, okay, due to its location, but later studies questioned this. It could either be a rocky planet similar to Earth or a water world, or it could have Venus-like conditions with high temperatures. So that's a lot of possibilities. So to your question, do you believe we could survive if we moved to Gliese 581c? That depends a lot on what Gliese 581c is like, right? It seems like there's a bunch of possibilities here. If it's a water world, then yeah, totally. If it's Venus-like conditions, then absolutely not. Well, maybe I shouldn't say absolutely not. I mean, maybe like we could probably survive in Venus if we had like the right blimp-type structures and that could float on it. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. I mean, humans are creative. We can find ways to survive, given enough time to prepare in with our technology and whatnot. Okay. Habelscrones asks, Zach, what is the meaning of life? Ooh, 42. All right, but serious answer, though. Serious answer. All right, what is the meaning of life? I feel like I need a background for this, so let's just search the meaning of life and just make it an image search. So... oh, come on. You got to give me something better than just like a book with that title. Come on, Google image search. Come on. All right, you know what? We'll take the Monty Python. Yeah, we'll take it. All right, there it is. That's my background. Come on, I can't zoom in on that. Come on, man. Come on. This I can zoom in on. All right. What is the meaning of life? So I tend to take a, sort of like utilitarian perspective on this, meaning that I think like the purpose of us existing is so that we can kind of like exist. Like, let me put it to you this way, like, let's say there was like you started playing a really good MMO, right? Like a game where you could like do whatever you wanted, and different people found totally different ways to have fun with the game, right? Some people could, open their little shop to sell items to other players, and other people could become a warrior and go, fight dragons, and other people could, I don't know, like create, like Minecraft style, create their own mountains or whatever. The point is, in this game, there's no one purpose. The point is they made this MMO so that players could experience the game in totally different ways. And that's kind of the fun of it. And I think that's basically what life is like. I don't think there's any one pre-prescribed purpose to it. I think it kind of just is what it is. You're here. You've been dropped into this MMO. Find what's fun for you. Find what's interesting for you. And do that, Explore. There's good experiences to have and bad experiences to have. There's things to experience and things to play with. And that's life, Like, yeah, that's the meaning of it. I don't really think there's anything beyond that. Like, it kind of is what you make of it, Okay, so King says it's like Earth, but like 10 times bigger. Yeah. Apple says 10 times bigger? I think we'd all get crushed by the gravity, right? Well, that assumes, like, 10 times bigger doesn't necessarily mean it's also 10 times more massive, right? Because there can be, like, a planet can be bigger, but just be less dense, You know how you take bread and make it rise? It gets bigger, but it has the same amount of mass in it, Apple says, what a good way to learn the meaning of life via a Zach rant. It'll take perhaps 42 minutes to end. Yes! Oh, perfect. I didn't expect you to answer the question full on. Listen, man, I can never be trusted to not answer a question full on. You should know this about me. like anytime you ask me a question, like, you're like, there's no escape. You've signed your death warrant. You're trapped in this Zach rant for till the end of time. King says, I've been getting into philosophy and going off the idea that when we die, we're gone, like we just cease to exist. It just goes black, etc. Then wouldn't the meaning of life be to live our lives to the fullest and enjoy every moment we have? Yeah. Yeah. I think so. I mean, yeah, I personally don't really think it's very likely that there's an afterlife, like, no hate to anyone who does think there's an afterlife, but it doesn't seem tremendously likely to me. But if there was, that would be awesome. I would love to continue living after all of this. I don't want my existence to end. I don't want any of your existences to end either. I want us to keep being able to make PCGs and have new ideas and new thoughts into eternity. But that may not be possible. Here's the thing, right? It sort of doesn't matter, because whether or not there's an afterlife, this right here is the only life we know for sure we're getting, right? This is the only one we absolutely know we have. And the present moment is kind of all we have. Like right now I have this PCG channel and we're having fun playing PCGs with each other. This time may never ever come again. PCGs could die out. All of us could get bored of it. We could go on to do other things, and each moment you live in life is unique. And sure, you go on to experience other things and everything is great, but each moment, each thing you're doing is precious and important. And that's true whether or not there's an afterlife. It's like, if you're even if there is an afterlife, even if you get to exist forever, this moment is still gone, right? So, yeah, absolutely. I think the important thing is to, make the most of it, right, man? Like, have fun, enjoy the moments while it's there, and hopefully, like it would be great if there was something after the fact, or even if not, like maybe if humans can one day come up with a technology that can keep us alive forever. I don't know, in a non unpleasant way, like you see in the movies where you're like a brain in a vat or whatever. Like, maybe they could just keep. Maybe every once in a while you would have to get one of your limbs replaced with a new limb grown from your cells or whatever. That's not impossible. So if something like that happened, that'd be pretty cool. If not, maybe, I don't know. The thing is, to me, existence is very, very precious, and, I want to exist in some way if possible, but if not, make the most of whatever, of every moment. So, yeah. Anyway, Havel says, you said 10 times bigger doesn't necessarily mean doesn't mean more mass, but dude, 10 times bigger? We can assume that'd be a little heavier. It probably would, depending on what it's made out of. I mean, if it was a big ball of, like, hydrogen gas, that could easily be 10 times bigger without being more massive. But yeah, I mean, I think, as a general rule of thumb, 10 times bigger would be heavier. It doesn't necessarily mean, like, exactly, 10 times heavier, but, yeah. Havel says, oh, whatever, let's get back to the wiki. What are we doing? Yeah. Oh, yeah, we're making an article about Man-Bat. How do we get from Man-Bat to the meaning of life? King says, I think not having the certainty of an afterlife makes it even more important to live our lives fully because, like you just said, this life is the only one that's confirmed. Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what I'm saying. Havel says, it's a detriment to me that I think once we die, nothing we'd have done would matter. I mean, yeah, it's a sad thing to think about. I mean, ultimately anything you build is going to crumble to dust eventually. I do think it matters in the short term. When I say short term, I mean in the cosmic scale, the short term. Because, you're sort of creating waves that are going to spread out amongst humanity, right? Like, you've spoken to people. You've treated people in certain ways. You've had ideas and shared them with people. You've, like I created paper computer games, right? Or I didn't create them. Chris created them, but I shared them with you via the YouTube channel, right? And, like, all those things you do spread to other people, which affect those people's lives and leads them to have other ideas, and then they spread those ideas to other people, and it's like you affect people, like your existence affects people in ways you can't really think about, and that just spreads out and spreads out and spreads out, and really, it is now like you are going to have a tremendous effect on the future history of the world, like, for thousands of years. And in fact, the further in time you go, the more different history is going to be from the way it was. That's the butterfly effect. And that's true of every single person on Earth. So, I don't know. Eventually, scientifically, there'll be the heat death of the universe and whatnot. But, yeah, I don't know. King says, one thing I've been thinking about is if a scientist devotes themselves to studying space and evolution stuff of the sorts, would they begin to not believe in religions? Would it sway their worldviews? Sometimes. Like, the thing is, like, I think in studies, scientists, like people who study specifically space and biology, tend to be less religious on average. They're not all atheists, though. Like, there are a lot of people who are religious and are scientists. Because, like, the thing is, like, there's no, nothing in science directly proves or disproves, like, the existence of God, right? Like, you can't, there's nothing that directly, like, how would you test that, right? There are specific claims, like, in a religious text that you can disprove. Like, you know, for example, if a religious text says, to pick a random example, let's say a religious text says that a flood happened, right? If it's a worldwide flood, well, there should be evidence of that left behind. So that's the kind of thing you can test. But you can't really test if a God exists. Like, how would you possibly test that? What would you look for? You know, how could you possibly know that? So, yeah, you know, there is, like, people who are scientists do tend to be less religious on average. Studying science, yeah, it does look like that tends to make you less religious, but, you know, I don't know, who knows? Do you know what else is more massive? The low taper fade. Hable says, not like knowing my efforts will have been in vain. It's that once I die, what I did won't matter to me since I'm gone. I don't care for my legacy if I'm too dead to know it. Yeah, I certainly know the feeling. I'm not a huge fan of that idea myself. Totally get that. Which is why I'm hoping we can live forever. I'm hoping that, like, you know, I don't know, 20 years from now they create some technology that, you know, lets us stay alive forever. I know it's like a crazy out there hope, but hey, you know, like, weirder things have happened. King says, the thing is, Hable, the stuff we do may not matter in the future, but it does matter to us. Just because you're forgotten doesn't mean you've never existed. You have lived your life. If you've lived your life fully, you should you not feel content on what you've done and worry about being forgotten? Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's like an example I heard someone bring up once was, you know, say you get a new car, right? And it's great to have that car. It's an awesome car, right? But you know, eventually the car is going to be, it's going to run down, and eventually one day it's going to be in a junkyard, right? It'll no longer be your car. You know the car is not going to last forever. But that doesn't take away from the fact that the car is great for you now. It still has value for you now, you know? That should not be diminished. The fact that you don't get an eternal time with that car doesn't make the car any less valuable. Now, cars are sort of an interesting example because, technically speaking, if you did want to keep if you were really motivated to keep your car alive forever, I mean, you can, right? You can just keep replacing parts forever and you'll have that same car forever. Of course, that does get into the ship of Theseus, right? The ship of Theseus is like, all right, let's it's like a thought experiment. What if you keep taking one plank off of a ship? You keep taking a plank off of the ship. Every time one of the wooden planks that makes up the ship, every time it rots, you remove that plank and put a fresh plank in its place. And eventually, the whole ship is replaced by new planks if you keep doing that for long enough. Is it a new ship once the whole thing has been replaced? And if so, at what point did it stop being the same ship, right? Well, I mean, I think we'd all agree that when you removed just one plank and replaced it, it was still the same ship afterwards. And that's the same thing for the second plank. Which exact plank do you, like, at which point does it stop being the original ship and start being a new one? Or is it the same ship the whole time? And that's an interesting thought experiment. That is sort of what that gets into. But yeah, Habelskrone says, I learned this word from gadolinium in the EU server. That's agnosticism, where God cannot be proven or disproven. Yeah, so I think the word agnosticism, as I understand it, I think it just means like a person who's an agnostic is just a person who says, I don't know if there's a God or not, you know? I think, like, you know, I mean, I don't know, I think, like,
you could call me an agnostic because, like, I don't feel like I know for sure if there's a God or not. Though I don't think agnostic is probably, like, the best word for me, but I think it applies. King says, the thing is we will never face death. The person we are right now won't be alive in 30 years because our views will change and we will grow as people, making us mentally not the same person we were. But that's the Ship of Theseus problem again, right? Do you count that as the same person or not? I mean, there's two perspectives here. Sure, you could say that's effectively a different person because they have different views and different feelings or whatever. But that doesn't really feel true, right? Like, I mean, I still feel like I'm the same person as when I was a kid. True, I am very different. I've changed, but, I still have the continuations of ideas and thoughts and feelings I had when I was a kid. Things I've wanted since then. When I get them now, I'll still be excited because it's still me, Like, at the same time, there is, like, it is kind of a little bit like death, right? Like, let's say if you lived for 10,000 years, eventually you'd start to forget things that happened to you. I mean, already we forget things that happened to us before, right? Like, we don't remember every single thing that happens to us, right? So, like, 10,000 years from now, what if we would have forgotten everything from our lives now? Like, there was an episode of Doctor Who like that, where there's this woman, and the Doctor meets her, like, in the past, in the year, like, 12,000, and then she gets immortality, and then he goes into the future and meets her, and she's still alive, and he's talking about how, like, at the time, like, back when she was, back in the beginning, when she was, like, a teenager or whatever, she was, like, she didn't want to live without all the other people in the village. They meant everything to her, and she couldn't stand the thought of living without them. And so he meets her in the future, and he's like, how do you feel about that now? Do you still, like, are you still okay? Are you okay now living without those guys? And she's like, who? Like, she's been alive so long, she forgot them, and it means nothing to her now, even though back then it was the most important thing in her life. And that just really hit me, like, oh man, like, he's like, what the heck, they would have all given their lives for you. And she's like, well, they're all dead and I'm alive, so there you go. Oh god, like, yeah, like, she was also kind of a jerk character, but yeah, I could imagine that, that in a sense that is a little bit deathy, because, like, yeah, huge swaths of your personality, who you are, can be forgotten. But at the same time, like, I sort of, like, in my mind, I sort of consider it to be the same person if there is a continuation, if, your mind experiencing this thing leads to your mind in the next moment, which leads to your mind in the next moment. Kind of like how if you're driving down a road, right? If you're driving down a road, and you can ask, like, are we on the same road as we were on the before? Well, that's a question you can ask, right? If you can, like, draw a straight line along the road without ever leaving that road, then it's the same road, right? So I think that's analogous. King says, you physically are the same person, but mentally you're quite different. Yeah. I mean, well, also physically different, right? Because, like, when I was a kid, like, I was physically smaller. I had totally different skin cells, right? I have more brain cells than I had back then. But yeah, I tend to come down on the Ship of Theseus question, that I tend to feel like it is the same ship. That's sort of how I think about things. Like, I think if you keep replacing the planks, as long as there's, like, a continuity there, as long as at each point it's the same ship as it was a moment ago, and you keep replacing planks, and eventually all the planks are replaced, I still think it's the same ship. I don't know. That's how I think about it. So I would feel, comfortable with that. Like, if, let's say there was a machine that could, like, replace, like, every time a cell in my body dies, it could replace it with a new cell that was, compatible, and eventually all my cells would be replaced. I still feel like I would be the same person, because who I am at that moment you know, determines who I am at the next moment. You know, there's a continuity of thought there. And to me, that makes me the same person. Even if over time I forget all the stuff I used to care about, there's still a through line. There's a reason that I changed who I was, you know? King says, would dementia make you someone else? That interesting, yeah. But yeah, I think that's still the same thing as I'm talking about. I would still call that the same person. I mean, I had a grandmother who had Alzheimer's, and she changed a lot. She was very different, but she was still my grandma, you know? She still, like, cared about us. So, I don't know. It really depends on how you define words, right? Really, it's really just a question of semantics, I guess. I gotta go, y'all. Have a great night, and Zach, keep doing your stuff. Heck yeah! Thanks, King. Have a great night. Thanks for joining. P site C hollow G. I see what you did there. But yeah, let's actually create the Man-Bat article. Man-Bat was a villain who fought Batman. Excuse me. Alright, let's build some Batman. The animated series by Zach. And then we'll put the picture in here. Heck yeah. We have an article on Man-Bat. Put them in category DC. Villains. Oh, right, we were on the wiki. We were on the wiki, weren't we? Yeah, let's see. Villains, I guess bats. And, yeah. So, he is kind of a bat. Zach, is there any shot I could have an uncompiled version of the PCG script maker for modding purposes, or is that confidential source code? Oh no, yeah, totally. I'm a big believer in open source code. So yeah, absolutely, you could have the uncompiled version if you want it for modding purposes. So yeah. How do I send it to you, Habel? I have it right. Let's see if I go here to paper for computer games, and then computer games. Wait, where did I even put that? Oh, that's right. It was in a totally. It was not even in my PCG folder for some stupid reason. Here's the icon for it. Here it is, pcgscriptmaker.py. It's a Python file, so you can open it in something like Fawny, which is this. This is like a free thing, or you can just open it in like WordPad or whatever you like. Here's the actual code. Whee! But yeah, I can absolutely send you this Python file. Since I pinned it to my taskbar account, suddenly I accidentally open it. Heck yeah. That's a good question. How do you send it to me? Let me try to send it to you on Discord. Let's see. Habel's groans. There you go. So you can just click that nice, lovely download button. This one right over here, and you should be able to download that, theoretically speaking, of course. Thanks, mister. You are very welcome. All right, there we go. Time to learn Python. Heck yeah, that is a good thing to learn. I did not learn it. Let me just say for the record, I just totally got AI to do the coding for me. I will say, the more I did it, the more things I picked up, but I absolutely could not have written this code myself. I am not that good. I just, hey man, I have a tool that can make a thing for me, and, I wanted that thing to exist, and so I made the thing, I had the ability. Habel says, hey, that's what AI is for, to do stuff for you. That is true. That is its purpose. Yeah, I mean, that's the sort of thing I've been using AI for a lot, is coding, because ChatGPT is freaking crazy good at coding. It's not perfect. Sometimes you'll ask it to make you code, and then something doesn't work, and then you have to go back to it and be like, hey, here's the error message I got. What's the problem? And it'll be like, oh yeah, that's because I forgot this totally obvious thing that I needed to include in the code it didn't include. Or, hey, that's because I wrote the code for a totally different version of the software. And you have to go through that process a few times sometimes, but you can get the thing to work most of the time. And yeah, I in that way, there's a lot of cool stuff I can create. I just recently created an app that, it's not PCG related or anything, but I got annoyed at that my computer, at work keeps, the screen keeps going to sleep, and I can't, change the settings to stop it from going to sleep, even if there's, a long render on my 3D animation, rendering. It's man, how do I stop this from going to sleep? So I made an app that actually just, every, few seconds, it, wiggles the mouse, and it presses a key on the keyboard, and it works. It keeps the computer from turning off. So yeah, cool stuff like that. But more importantly, more PCG related. It helps me do the coding on the PCG app that you saw, and the new PCG site, which is gonna be a thing in the near future. Well, okay, technically it is already a thing. The new PCG site technically is already up there, so if you did go to it, you could see stuff, but it's not ready to be shown. It's not ready to be properly announced at the world. Really, I shouldn't have mentioned it now. I should have just kept my mouth shut. All I'm seeing is hieroglyph is gibberish and tongues in this .py file. Yeah, I mean, well, what did you open it in? Because if you open it in the wrong thing, it might, render the text weird. Let's take a look at what it should look like. It should look like this. Def resource path, relative path, or whatever. Yeah, you should see all these defs. Def set page, def mouse event. These are each, sort of functions, things for it to do, and then it has code within that, sort of. I recommend using Thonny. Thonny. You can download it free. Look. This is a program that lets you open the PY file in it and makes it look good, like I'm seeing. Here it is, thonny.org. It's kind of annoying to figure out how to download it. Wait, no, it isn't. Maybe I'm confusing it with something else. Yeah, here's the download. So yeah, install Thonny. It's free. There's no ads. There's no nothing. It's good. It'll work. It'll help you do the thing. Unless you're trying to do this on mobile, in which case, I don't know, I can't help you. But yeah, I opened it in VS Code. I'm just saying that Python is scary. Oh, okay, yeah. Python is scary, yeah. If you don't know what anything is, it doesn't help. Or, like, there's not much you can do. But, you can also, like, the other thing that AI is good for is you can just ask it what a thing means. Like, you can like, you know, if you want to learn the coding yourself, you can, like, let's say I can look at this and be like, hey, what does this bit do? Like, I'll copy this and paste it into AI and please be like, hey, please explain to me what def means. Please explain to me what, you know, what the why do you have to put the parentheses there? What does that mean, you know? So that's a thing you can do. I will tell you that each one of these, like, defs, like, are functions. So those are, like, you know, I learned this by working with ChatGPT a bit. So those are, like, things that happen, you know, like, so, like, in other words, like, this one is, like, def set page. Def stands for define. So it's like, you're defining set page, and then here's the definition. It's like, of what happens within set page. So then later, if you can say set page again, and it'll know what you're talking about, because you told it here what set page means. You know, you're defining the word set page, and this is the definition. So anytime you say set page from here on out, it's going to know what you're talking about. And then, so yeah, you define, like, basically that's what a lot of this is, just defining lots of different terms, or they call them functions. And then later on, you can call them, you know, or, like, activate those functions. And then stuff happens. I don't know. But yeah. Anyway. So, yeah. We have successfully wikied 2 paper computer games, right? 2 new pages today. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah, actually 5 new pages today. A PCG poem. Wait, was this created today? Yeah. Yeah, it was. Wait, it says 20 May, but it's 19 May. Oh, well. Anyway, let's see what it says. Sketches on paper paint the walls of my youth. Hidden pages created a magical truth. The endless worlds we all created, some time away was needed. Looking back, we all adore the amazing memories we all bore. Thank you, PCGs, for building my childhood. I look back on you dearly in a bittersweet smile. I'm off to college where there's no Zuvac. Oh, but treasured worlds got lost in this race of life. But I will come back when I have the calling. Oh, that is so sweet and so sad and so bittersweet. Oh, Epic, It sucks that I only discovered this after Epic left the stream, but, you know, I don't know. Guys, let him know that I did react to this. Oh, man, that is so sad. Well, I hope Epic has a great time in college, even though there's no Zoo back there. Oh, my God. I don't know why that's so sad, but, I mean, I went to college and, you know, like, stopped doing PCGs for a while, and here I am back again, so, you know, who knows. But, you know, I don't know, it just makes me so sad looking back on those days when, you know, everyone was around and we were doing PCG stuff and whatever. It'll come again. Everyone will be back. There'll be new people. It'll be fun. It'll be fun times, you guys. We gotta get out of this all sad. Like, here's the thing. Like, I know every single time one of you guys joins that it's not, you know, like, eventually you guys are gonna grow out of it. Like, it's the way this goes. And Epic was always the one who'd be like, not me, I'm gonna be here forever. And I would just kind of, like, knowingly, like, nod and be like, yeah, I'm sure you will. To be fair, like, Epic was very impressive. He stayed with PCGs for a very long time. But, you know, I think it's very, very difficult to focus on one thing for a very prolonged period of time, or, like, forever. It's impossible, basically. Even I can't do it, you know? Like, I get into other things and spend more time with them. I mean, I always come back to PCGs, but I mean, that's the thing, you know? Like, I don't think PCGs should be, like, the thing you're working on I mean, if you wanted to, that's fine. Follow it as long as you are enjoying it being the thing. But, hey, it's cool for PCGs to be one of your things. A thing you come back to every once in a while. Ain't nothing wrong with that. So, yeah. Apple says, Epic is so sentimental about and longing of PCGs, which makes sense, but I find really funny. If you went to college, do you know if rumors are true? If girls go to college to get more knowledge? The rumors are true. Can confirm. King says, I find the one issue with PCGs is getting burnt out from making so many, which is what so many members do. Yeah, that makes sense. You can get burnt out on anything. Frankly, Epic had a freaking, epic stamina, right? He kept at it for so long. It was freaking 3 years, and he made an absurd number of PCGs. But yeah, man, I guess eventually even the mighty will fall. Anyone can get burned out eventually. No matter what you're doing, by the way, no matter what it is, if you're a comic book artist, if you're a video maker, if you're whatever it is, eventually the human mind just wants to do other things, which kind of challenges our sort of view of people, right? We sort of think of oh, this guy is a writer, that's what he does, he writes books, that's his thing, right? But I feel like the human brain, sort of is not built to only do one thing forever, We're built to get curious about trying other things. We're built to get tired of one thing if we do only that for too long, Sure, someone may be an author, but everyone wants new experiences, right? That's human nature, I think. Yeah, I don't know, maybe we shouldn't think of ourselves as, an author or and this or and that. I mean, sure, you are an author, but you're also 10 other things and have the potential to become 10 other things also, King says, that's what sucks about burnout. It targets all the things you're passionate about. Yeah, but I mean, the solution is, you gotta take breaks, you can't, you're not a machine, you're a human being. You can't just pump out the same thing over and over and over again into eternity and expect it to feel as good as it felt at the beginning. But it will feel as good if you, take breaks. For example, I love reading Star Trek books, for example, right? But if you read too many of them all at once, at first, there's a thrill of that. It's oh, man, I'm really exploring this universe. There's, so many cool things to... But then, after a while, you get tired of it, and you're oh, there's, so many other interesting books I want to read or I want to know about, and, there's more to life than Star Trek, and Star Trek, gets to feel the same thing over and over, and you get... So you stop it for a while. You read other things, That's fine. Then later on, maybe a few months go by, a year goes by, and you're oh man, I haven't been reading Star Trek books in a while. I wonder what's going on with those. And then you start reading them, and then once again, there's that thrill of this, you're sort of once again exploring more of the universe, parts of it you hadn't found before. I think it's the same with BCGs. I think it's the same with anything, And I'm a big believer in just sort of exploring whatever. Whatever your creativity is, wherever your mind is at, if you have a wave of creativity and ideas, go with it, ride that wave, understand that it's not going to last forever, ride it as long as it feels good and it's fun, and then go do something else. And then maybe later you'll have another wave of PCGs, or maybe not, I'm a big believer in going where you want to go, where your creativity takes you. Follow your nose wherever it goes. King says it does make things like staying in one profession mad impressive, though. Yeah, absolutely. It is mad impressive. You can force yourself to keep going and fight back against burnout. And, it's not like it becomes totally miserable. You are always going to enjoy that thing to some extent, It's
And yeah, it's absolutely super impressive to like push through it and, you know, keep going with it. And you still will find like parts of it that you're excited about. So yeah, I think if you do that as a profession, yeah, it is super, super impressive. Halo says, yeah, what Zach said, fighting burnout, like taking breaks, like how I took a break from Civ before releasing V10. Absolutely, exactly. I love making everything about me. Well, hey, man, I mean, like, here I am making everything about me, right? So, I mean, fair enough, right? But yeah. Yeah, what else? So let's see. We've got like, I don't know. I feel like clearly I got burned out on the PCG YouTube channel to some extent. But I'm also at the same time like really frustrated because I really want to make more videos. Like I really want to be making more content, and it's just frustrating to me that I keep not doing it, you know? I keep, like, failing. And I think I need to hire another editor, actually. I think that is what I need. But a lot of it is, like, trying to force myself to both do streams and make videos. And it's kind of, like, it heightens the frustration that I don't have as many people, like, on stream as I used to. Though it's great that I still have you guys, like King and Happelscrones, like, you know, like, even just with this, it's a lot of fun to do the stream. But yeah, I miss the days, you know, when I had more people and streams were wild and crazy, and this is still wild and crazy, but you know what I mean, right? Like, those streams of yore were freaking epic. You do get burned out on stream pretty easily, though, because, like, see, here's the thing, right? The thing is, when you're streaming, like, at the one hand, like, there's the good bit of streaming is that it kind of feels like hanging out with friends, you know? Like, you're hanging out, you're talking about stuff, they ask you questions, they give you stuff to, like, hey, look at this, like, they show you stuff. And it's fun, and it's great, and you get to share, like, this PCG thing, you get to talk about PCG characters and lore and, you know, and all life questions like we are. That's a lot of fun. But then there's, like, the bad part of it, which is where, like, you know, well, there's multiple bad parts of it. You know, like, one thing is, like, there's this feeling where, like, you feel like you're talking into a void, you know, because, like, if people don't respond for a minute or two, you don't know if they're still there, and that's a weird feeling. You imagine standing in front of a person and having a conversation with them, and you just don't know if they exist anymore, you know? Like, you can't tell, you know? And there's sort of like a loneliness to that, but then also, you know, like, every single person wants you to look at their thing, like, hey, look at this video I made, look at this thing I made, look at this, look at that, look at this, look at that. And, you know, some of the time, this stuff, like, dovetails really nicely with what I'm doing on stream, and it's great to show it. But other times, it's like, you know, it's not too related to PCGs or to the stream, and, you know, sometimes, like, they don't even want to show you their thing. Sometimes they just want to show you, like, a band they like or stuff like that, or, you know, and whatever. And, you know, that's totally understandable. It's like when you have a YouTuber that you like and you're watching, you get curious to see how would they react to this other thing that I like, you know? That's totally cool. I have that feeling too when I watch people on YouTube. But it's like, you know, I guess it gets to be a little overwhelming if, like, everyone wants to do their thing and everyone wants you to, like, only do their thing. Like, hey, wait, do more. Like, go to the next page. Like, even if I, like, look at their, like, video, it's like, no, you didn't see enough of it yet. Go to the next bit, go to the next bit, go to the next bit. And it's like, you know, like you like at some point you kind of have to like put your foot down, or else like, you know, it becomes that guy show, you know, and like you're also you like it's stressful because it's not just me here, right? We're also thinking about, is everyone else enjoying the stream? Like, I have to be entertaining. I'm on camera, and if people stop watching me, then like if I get boring, then the views drop off, and then the algorithm stops recommending the stream, and then like the channel like dies, if you do too much of that, So you're trying to like balance like making the people who are watching happy with making the other people who are watch happy, and like they're all like fighting for your attention, like, hey, look at this thing I made, look at this thing I made. And it's a lot, it's overwhelming. And if you do it a lot, it can like burn you out. You should start a podcast. That would be fun. But like, who would listen to it, right? I don't feel like maybe like, because podcasting seems to be like the big thing, right? But how would I build an audience for a podcast, like, yeah, I mean, I'm very entertained listening to this. Oh, thanks, Apple Scrones. Yeah, but it's like, where do you start? Like, I mean, I guess I don't know too much about the landscape of podcasting. I personally don't listen to that many podcasts. I've listened to one or two. But, like, of course, first and foremost being the good old classic Paper Computer Games podcast, right? But, yeah, like, pardon me, excuse me. I don't know how I would gain audience. Like, I don't feel like I have a big enough YouTube audience anymore that I could, like, promote it. Like, some YouTubers will be like, hey, guys, go follow my podcast. And then they automatically get a huge audience on their podcast. I feel like if I actually started a podcast and announced it on my YouTube channel, I would get, like, one viewer. And bear in mind, making a podcast is a lot of work. It's a lot of work for one viewer, to watch. It's hard to motivate yourself to do that on top of everything I'm already trying to motivate myself to do. I'm trying to motivate myself to stream more, and I'm trying to motivate myself to make videos more. But yeah, I'll be that one viewer. Heck yeah. Thanks, Apple Scrones. No, listen, start a podcast and have drama with yourself. Heck yeah. Like, man, this Zach guy is a total poser. Like, oh man. I don't know. I don't know what I would talk about. Like, would you want it to be like the new Paper Computer Games podcast, or like like my asking this question, by the way, doesn't mean I'm gonna do it. I'm just hypothetically, would you want it to be the new Paper Computer Games podcast, or would you want it to be just the Zach show? Zach talks about whatever, or like maybe it's the Paper Computer Games podcast, but then there's parts where Zach talks about whatever, What if you have like Tutorial Bot and Slurm on the podcast? Well, I don't know. I don't know if I could get them. I don't know. Like they're both like very very high. They have such busy schedules. Tutorial Bot and Slurm. I hear like Tutorial Bot is preparing to like star in a upcoming movie. Habel says, I'd say Zach talks about whatever, featuring some guests sometimes. Cool, but like, what's the draw? Like, why would a person who has never heard of Zach click on the podcast? Havelskron says, in a what now? Upcoming movie? Maybe that was just wishful thinking. Like, maybe we can just pretend Zach didn't say that. I'm sorry. I apologize for that weird laugh there. Someone who's never heard of Zach would click to see what Zach talks about. All right, fair enough. I mean, I guess like other people have podcasts in their name, but like maybe I can I don't know. Maybe I could go off like my name being XAQ, like Zach Attack. I don't know. That would be fun, but it's one of like the bajillions of projects I would love to do. See, this is the freaking problem with me, right? I have too many things I want to do, and the fact that there's so many prevents me from doing freaking any of them. I want to make regular YouTube videos. Like, I have ideas for specific videos I want to make. I did film one, and actually HMB Tiger is working on editing it. There was another one I wanted to make. Habelscrone says, where tutorial bot breaks into someone's house and kills people with hammers. Totally. That's the Sack Attack show. I guess that would be a tutorial bot attack show. But yeah. Wait, my other message didn't send? Oh, that's unfortunate. Did it have a link in it? Sometimes YouTube, takes out messages with links for some reason. I wish there was a way I could change that, but I don't think there is. But yeah. Starting a podcast would be a lot of fun. I do want to talk about things other than PCGs. I would like to rant about, all sorts of things. That is a frustration of mine. Is that, the channel is called Paper Computer Games. And that makes me feel like all the videos should be about paper computer games, right? And I do have that other channel, the Zach channel, But, I don't know. Habel says, no, it's already been set in stone. You need to make the movie or tutorial bot will attack you, just like that one movie where he breaks in and kills people with hammers. Okay, well, yeah, I mean... Well, listen, there's already a trailer for a tutorial bot, movie. Just saying. Have you guys seen the trailer? Should we watch the trailer on stream? What do we think, chat? Should we watch the trailer on stream? We should watch the trailer. Okay. Let's watch the trailer. You've probably seen this before, but we're gonna watch it anyway because why not? Here we go. Mind you, this trailer was made 15 years ago, December 31st, 2009. Just remind you, if you want to play the kart racer, print out the carts, the weapons, and the tracks, and you're good to go. Sweet, thanks.
It's from your mother. She sent it from Japan.
Chat, what do we think is in the box?
Wait. How do I do that?
The Mechanoid 250 knowledge unit. Robot tuners.
Idiocracy on a budget.
What you doing, lad? I was sent here to help you solve the problems.
How do we solve this problem?
You had to find the solution to the problem. Problems are like things that you need to fix, and the solution is key to solving the problem. Find the solution, solve the problem.
That is some freaking sage advice there. I think we can all, benefit from that knowledge, right? Problems are like things you need to fix, and the solution is key to solving the problem. Find the solution, solve the problem.
An unexpected friendship is made between the boy and the robot.
It's the logo of the channel. Yep. Tutorial Bot totally is.
I think I'm getting it. I think I'm getting it.
You're the best teacher ever, Tutorial Bot. Yeah.
2 plus 2 equals crocodile.
But then things take a turn for the worst.
That is incorrect. It is a simple concept. Find the solution, solve the problem.
But that doesn't help me. I still don't know how to solve the problem. I just don't understand math. All these numbers and animals, it just doesn't make sense.
This will burn my fingers.
You add,
But then you subtract.
and what's
Multiplying. Why? No sense.
math is
It's
for
worked.
retards. Why do you even need to add? What, do these numbers have a meaning?
Do they have a purpose? Don't mean anything. Why do we add? I don't understand. Let me learn better. Please.
But Tutorial Bot
Sorry.
realizes that he has to kick his teaching methods up to the next level. No.
Apple says, for these dummies, Tutorial Bot actually gives actually useful tutorials. Solution solves problems. That's true.
Ow! Ow! What's a booyah?
Hey, Twitter, what's going on? Hey, what's this?
That's my new friend, Tutorial Bot. Robot sucks. I hate them. Does not compute. Let the learning begin. Summer 2025!
Save game.
Tutorial Bot speaks. The box itself doesn't. So yeah, that was the trailer. Bear in mind, this trailer was made in December 31st, 2009. Anyway, yeah. Yeah. That's the year I was born? Oh, dang. So then you are, what, 15 years old? Because, like, if you were born in 2009, so 2019, you would have been 10. So you're 16. Oh, cool. So, yeah, sorry, I'm staring into space there. Yeah, maybe I should probably, like, end the stream in the near future because, like, it's getting late and, yeah, but, like my brain is starting to fail to function, but, yeah, like, let me know if you guys have any last-minute questions or complaints or objections or statements or queries or inquiries or, poems or, I don't know, varied forms of communication that you would like me to address, and I will address them. So yeah, so let's say we'll end the stream in a few minutes, I guess. You think you can make a video about the game I sent you and add it on the Wikipedia? I don't know about making a whole video about it. I do have a lot of videos to make. I'll definitely add it on the wiki, though, for sure, 100%. Zach, what pizza toppings do you get? So the thing is, like, all right, you've just triggered a Zach rant right there. You have just triggered an entire Zach rant. And by the way, Toon Blast, can I get permission to add your game to the PCG site, the new like PCG shop or whatever once it goes up? But yeah, anyway, so what pizza toppings do I get? So, man, this is gonna make me hungry for pizza. But, so for most of my life, the answer was just plain. Like, I did not get anything on pizza. Like, if anyone else got toppings on pizza, I would be like, nah, it's gotta be plain, you know? I always just ate plain pizza. It's funny because, like, in this, like, game I used to play that's called Zoombinis, there was, like, a pizza troll, just kind of like that. Well, not except like a pizza troll who was, like, very, very picky about what his pizza toppings are going to be. Let me see if I can, like, show you guys, actually.
You're not clean.
Yeah.
You are. Make me a pizza.
Heck yeah. See, in this game, you have to, like, choose... You have to, like, choose which toppings to put on the pizza. So, like, right now, they just chose to give him the pizza with no toppings on it, not even cheese. And he is almost certainly gonna not be satisfied by that.
More toppings.
So that's on his list of failed pizzas. So now we're gonna try giving him the pizza with, like, just that, I guess. Just those, like, I guess, I don't know if those are supposed to be olives or what, but...
More toppings. Make me a pizza.
See, this is actually, like, a logic puzzle because, like, because he said more toppings for this, that means he likes that topping, but that alone is not enough. You have to add that and other toppings. But if you put a topping on it he doesn't like, he'll say something like, some of those toppings I don't like. And, you know, so you got to use logic to, like, figure out what toppings he has. So, yeah, I guess I was like a pizza troll is the whole upshot of this. Point is, when I got older and I started going to college, you know, and I was all on my own, I'm all independent, I'm like, man, I'm in college. I could get whatever I wanted. I should be adventurous. I should like, try new things. And that was when I was all like, you know what? I'm going to try new toppings on my pizza. And I tried every topping on the pizza. Like, every single time I went to get pizza at the college pizza place, I got a different topping every single time. And you know what? Some of them were pretty darn good. I actually like pizza with olives. I like pizza with mushrooms. I like pizza with pepperoni's okay. It's, you know, I still don't like pizza with, like, chicken or, you know, whatever, anything, like, I also was, like, a vegetarian for most of my life, so chicken is just weird for me in general. But, like, you know, I'm a lot, like, peppers and onions are fine. Like, yeah, I'm a lot more variable now than I was when I was, like, a kid. I can enjoy almost any type of pizza. Well, generally whatever you put in front of me, you know, if I'm hungry, I'll eat it, you know, but, like, I feel like some of those other toppings are now things that I would voluntarily get on my own once in a while, you know, rather than just, you know, being forced to eat them. How about so Zack Attack episode 1? What pizza toppings do I get? Yes. Oh, man, totally. But no toppings equals bland pizza. Yeah, I mean that's just bread with tomato sauce, I guess. Does cheese count as a topping? I feel like the default pizza is cheese, is sauce and cheese, right? Like that, like, so I feel like cheese shouldn't count as a topping. Clearly in Zumbinis it does, but, you know, whatever. I go with ground beef / sausage, olives, and broccoli. Nice. Olives and broccoli I could get behind. I also, like, beef is fun. Like, I'll eat beef in the form of, like, a hamburger, but on pizza, like, I don't know, it feels kind of weird to me. Olives and, olives I like, broccoli I like. I like broccoli white. Broccoli white is pretty tasty. Sauce and cheese are automatically included unless otherwise stated. Yeah, totally. There is, like, I get Amy's pizzas, which are, like, a frozen pizza, and, like, most of theirs have sauce and cheese, obviously, but there's one that doesn't. There's one that's, like, it's, like, I don't know, it's, like, number one, it doesn't have cheese. Number two, instead of, like, tomato sauce, it has, like, some form of, like, I don't know, vegetable paste or whatever. And that sounds disgusting, but it's actually pretty good somehow, weirdly enough. Let's see. Amy's Pizza Veggie. Let's see what we got here. Is that? Yeah, here it is. Roasted vegetable. Oh man, my mouth is watering. I should get some of those roasted vegetable pizzas. It's been forever. Like, pizza might not even be the right term for it. Maybe you should call it something else, but it's pretty tasty for what it is. I saw a broccoli pizza on a movie, and that almost made me barf, really? Oh, man. I guess you really don't like broccoli. So you said we were vegetarian, past tense? Yeah, I was vegetarian for many, many years. When I was 8 to when I was, like, freaking 25. So, yeah, like, a lot of years I was, like, fully vegetarian, like, just absolutely religiously would never eat any kind of meat. But then, like, you know, two things started happening at once. You know, one thing was I started to think about it differently. I, you know, sort of rethought the problem. Because, like, my reason for being vegetarian in the first place is that, you know, like I said earlier, I value life a lot, and I really don't like the idea of killing animals. I don't think it's right that an animal should have to die so that I can have a tasty thing to eat. You know, it's like, you know, I guess I was just a very, like, empathy-driven kid, you know, and, like, you know, I had dogs and I loved them. The idea of, like, eating an animal like them, like, just seemed horrible to me. I also had pet fish and I cared about them as well. And, like, so that sort of started the whole thing. I think, like, when one of my fish died, I was just traumatized by the fish dying. And I was just like, and then, you know, it's like the next time that my parents tried to have fish for dinner, it's like, wait a second, you know? There's these animals that we love, and you're telling me I should eat that? That's a fish. We were just mourning the death of a fish, and I'm supposed to eat the fish? Like, what the hell? You know, so I you know, I didn't really love that, and that's what drove me to become a vegetarian. But, you know, like, it was later once I was sort of working at Whole Foods, like, working at a supermarket where you sort of see how food, you know, is sold. And, you know, like, in the department I worked in, most, like, whatever people didn't buy just got thrown out, right? Like, I would legitimately have to, like, I worked in the bakery department, which was, by the way, was a trap, because, like, at the end of every single day, we would have to gather up all the stuff that, like, either is expired or, in the case of fresh bread and fresh cookies and fresh muffins, you know, it's only good for one day. You bake the bread, and then at the end of that day, if someone hasn't bought it, you throw it in the garbage. You just straight up throw it out, And what a waste, right? In fact, it was my job to most of the stuff I was throwing out was perfectly good. Sure, it says you have a cookie in front of you and it says it expires today, but it looks, smells, and tastes perfectly fine, Up till today we were selling it. So yeah, totally. I totally I'm opening packages and throwing them in the garbage. Every now and then I'll just grab one and eat it, because better me than no one, right? Better me than throwing it into the trash. But that was bad because so much sugar. Oh my god. Beside that, the point being, it sort of occurred to me that the way they order new food, right? They order new food based on what people are buying. And they only order new food, they order, let's say there's a particular kind of cookie, right? We order the same amount of that every single week. Almost no matter what happens. We order the same amount of it every single week, unless there's suddenly a ton of people buying that cookie. Then we'll buy more, If they're constantly selling it out, then they'll buy more. But if not, they don't really think about it. They'll just buy whatever they buy, and people will get whatever we get, and then people will buy whatever they buy, And so that made me think so if I bought an individual one of those cookies and ate it, that doesn't actually change how many cookies the supermarket buys. That's just one. That doesn't really have an effect. And then that made me think about meat. If I just get one thing of meat, that doesn't actually change how many the store had to order, which means that doesn't actually change how many animals had to be killed for me to eat that thing. So then I was that sort of changed the way I looked at it. And at the same time as that, it was just I guess I started to be frustrated because man, I'm completely denying myself a whole food group. It's very frustrating to be a vegetarian, because being a vegetarian, you go to somebody's birthday party and they're having a delicious looking pepperoni pizza, but you can't eat it because it has meat in it, everyone around you is that's what we're having for dinner, but then I have to be the jerk and everyone has to think about me, I get there and they're oh, I'm sorry, we didn't make anything for you. Oh, they have to scramble and see if they can get a sandwich for me and now, or whatever, while everyone else is eating a full dinner. I didn't like that, and I also just didn't like that I don't get to experience a whole food group. I don't get to find out what it tastes like. So that sort of changed my mind, I guess, and I decided to try eating meat, so I became not a vegetarian anymore. But the core logic underlying me being a vegetarian is still there. I still don't like killing animals, and I still don't like the idea of eating them. And having been a vegetarian for so long, it's still not my habit to eat a lot of meat. I also developed I don't have as much of a taste for it as I did when I was a kid. Some things I'll still enjoy a lot, basically a cheeseburger I'll enjoy, and a hot dog I'll enjoy. But eating a chicken leg, just like people do, with all the sinews and stuff, to me that's just ugh. I just can't do that anymore. And eating a steak it's too much for me. And even when I get a burger, it has to be well done, And most of the time, when given the choice, I'll still almost always choose vegetarian options. If I'll go to a party and there's the burger and the veggie burger, 9 times out of 10 I'll choose the veggie burger, But it's nice that I at least have the option now. So if I'm at a party and they're having pepperoni pizza, I can still eat the pizza. It's not an absolute rule. So that feels a little bit better to me. So yeah, that's my rant about that. Sorry, let's see what chat has to say. Adriel says, I do like broccoli, but not on pizza. Oh, fair enough, yeah. I like it on pizza, like when it's on like white pizza. I think that's a good combination. Habel says the amount of food wasted is unbelievable. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, you have no idea. I had to throw like entire garbage bags, like completely filled to the brim, you know. Habel's Crone says Zack Attack episode 2, post-vegetarianism. Heck yeah. What I really should do is like just get these stream rants and just edit them into podcasts, or like just hire an editor to just like do that for me, because like a lot of these are so good, and like no one's just gonna click on a stream and watch the whole stream beginning to end after it aired. I feel like a lot of this good content just gets missed, so I feel like it would be a good opportunity to have someone like edit some of these rants into videos on YouTube or podcast episodes, you know. It's funny, like sometimes I'll like we'll have video chats with my friend, and I'll start ranting about something, and then everyone just goes quiet, and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, was I boring everyone? And like, you know, one of my friends is like, no, you just have a voice that sounds a lot like a podcast episode, and I go into podcast mode and just like start listening, and I don't think about I forget that I'm supposed to be part of this conversation, and I'm like, oh shoot. Oh, man. Habel says, I'm telling you, man. Podcast. All right. Well, maybe if I hire an editor... Well, Habel, what do you think about that idea of, like, editing some of these rants into like, a podcast? You know, would that be a good thing to do? What do you think about that as a podcast? Because that would be a way that it would make it easier for me to like, you know, to do it. And then people who missed the stream or whatever would get individual sort of like chunks, I guess. Or should I edit them into YouTube videos, or maybe like longer rants I could edit into podcasts, and shorter rants I could make into videos, or a little of both. I don't know. Hal says that was my idea too, to make it all about me again, just recycle Prime content. All right, yeah, that's totally something I could do. Yeah, where would I even start? Like, maybe I could get, get them to go back through past streams, or should I go, start now, or what? But, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Well, most podcasters have both a visual and they put it up both on YouTube and up on like as a podcast, right? So I guess it's sort of the same thing, isn't it? Like they could make it into a YouTube video, but then while they're at it, also make it into a podcast, I guess. Like it would be also available on Spotify and all the podcast places, How about we just edit the streams for only rants? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like we would get my rant about vegetarianism, and that would be an episode. We would get my rant about the universe, and that would be an episode. We would get the whole "what is the meaning of life" section, and that would be an episode. Yeah, that'd be fun. Then again, I do also sort of like the idea of having like a podcast with like segments where I would like properly, I don't know. How about when you stream, we just fling as many questions as we can at you. Boom, 10 episodes down. Yeah, I mean, yeah, pretty much, totally, yeah. I mean, I think not every single question is going to be an episode, because some of them, like, I'll just have a short answer, or, or they can be included into another episode because it's, like, a related topic or whatever, these are conversations, But I think that works. I think that makes it engaging, yeah, so like, yeah. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I like it. I like it. So yeah, yeah, well, the thing we need to do to make this happen is for me to get another editor, right? I have an editor right now, or I have, 2 editors? I'm not, if one of them, I'm not sure if he really has time right now to edit for me anymore. But I have at least one editor for sure. I should hire another one who can do stuff like this. Zach Attack 43. Do you even still like PCGs? Yes. End of episode. Yeah. That's a good question. Do I even still like PCGs? I mean, yes. But clearly I've changed a little bit over the years, right? Like, my PCGs have changed. I haven't been making PCGs as regularly as I used to. So that's a thing. To be fair, though, a lot of that is just because I'm working a full-time job. I'm not like a young 20-year-old, recklessly driving around and, exploring abandoned buildings, making paper computer games, But yeah. All this talk about toppings and pizza, and, mind you, the pizza's still, on the screen over here, is making me a little bit hungry. I'm starting to think maybe I should have dinner. But yeah, Habelscrones. Yeah, if you want to help make this happen, I don't know, maybe if you could help find an editor or something to edit this stuff for me. I said, I already have an editor, but, it takes a long time for one editor to make one video, which is understandable, because as someone who edits videos myself, I understand how long it takes. I could try and edit it up myself even. That would be cool. The thing about that is, I'm sort of thinking, maybe I should hire somebody from outside the community, because, I don't know, people in the community seem to, have a thing where they like the idea of helping edit and they want to help, but, they're also, often teenagers with high school lives or whatever. I guess everyone has a life, so that's true. But I was thinking if someone is sort of advertising themselves as a professional editor online, maybe it would be because what I really want is an editor who's reliable, an editor who you can give them a video and then very reliably a week later you have a finished video to publish. That's what I want, And it's, it's sort of hard to get that, Habel says, I just need to cut out the fluff, actual content for the real good stuff, rants. Yes, absolutely. That was my concern, too. I'll get lazy, but how hard can a few splits be? Yeah, I mean, getting lazy is one thing. The question is, can you be consistent? Will you keep coming back to it, there's someone at, who I'm paying, the programmer, Andre, who I'm paying for to make the Pokemon Stop game, the PC game. He sometimes will be hey, I have a lot of stuff going on today, I'll take the day off today, or I won't work on stuff as much today. So sometimes he gets lazy, not saying that in a pejorative way, but it's but he keeps coming back to it very consistently, every single day.
he messages me and he's like, hey, I'm starting work now. And then later he'll be like, hey, I'm finishing work now. I accomplished a bunch of stuff. And I can always see what he did. And that's great. That is what I want, you know? I want someone who, sure, sometimes they take a day off. Yeah, sure, some days they don't work as much as they did otherwise. But the thing is gonna get done, you know? Like, progress continuously is made. That's what I want, you know? It's frustrating to me if, like, you have editors and, like, they'll have a burst of working on stuff and then it falls off and, like, you never, like, you know, that is the difficulty. So yeah, Happelscrone's like, if you could do that, like, and if you're good at editing, like, I don't know how much editing experience you have, like, if you feel confident you could do it very regularly like that, if you could really commit to doing that, like, even if you have other stuff you want to do in a day, you know, then yeah, that would be cool. We could talk about that. Yeah, hit me up on Discord and we can talk about that more. Like, the advantage of hiring people, you know, from within the community is they're already fans of your content. You know, they're already, like, into the whole PCG thing, so it feels more like a team effort rather than, you know, here's this weird random guy who knows nothing about PCGs and you're making him edit all this weird stuff. Yeah, like, I don't know, like, in that sense, like, it's good to have people who, you know the PCG world, you know? But I don't know. So yeah, it is 11:30. I'm thinking it's time for me to have some dinner. So, that being the case, I'm thinking I will maybe take my leave of you, fine fellows. Happelscrone says, my unreliable, could not be a stream editor. Aw, man. Aw, poor Happelscrones. Well, listen, like, let me make this easier for you, Happelscrones. You don't have to make it like a commitment to be a whole thing. Like, listen, if you edit, like, if you want to, like, try it, like, edit a video and, like or edit a you know, a podcast or whatever of me, or take some of these rants that I did in this stream, for example, and turn them into videos. If you send them to me, I will post it, you know, like, I'm not gonna, like, be like, no, you know, like, I would tremendously appreciate, like, you going to that effort to, like, help me make more content. That is tremendously helpful to me, even if you only do one. And yeah, so yeah, you, like, you could try it and then, you know, get a feel for it and, you know, see how much more of it you want to do, or if you want to do it as a regular thing, or only do it when you feel inspired, you know. Take your leave and get your pizza. I bid you adieu. All right, fine. You're getting rid of me, fine. Well, I see how it is. All right. Well, you know what? Thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are the best, as always. And wait, hold on. Let me actually set this up so I can, like, actually, like, you know, actually, like, click the end stream button, like, right after. Okay, like, I say that because I hate how I do that and then it's awkward. Like, wait, I still have to find the button. Like, dang it. All right. Thank you, folks, so much for watching. You folks are the best, as always, and PCG you later. I'll try to put it. I'll try it out on this stream. I think it'll be fun once in a while as an extra PCG YouTube upload. Heck yeah, I would much appreciate that. Thank you, Happelscrones. PCG you later.